All right. Welcome back. Today is a very, very special day. We are here at the Gale Arms Resort at the ITW event, one of the flagship events for telecommunication industry, our industry where we are transforming where settlements happen. It's not very often that I get to talk to two of my brilliant and mind-blowing co-founders. It's for the first time that we're officially doing a fireside chat with two of my co-founders, and I cannot be more happy. Super excited and thrilled to bring both of them to you to have some live chat. This is unfiltered conversation, so expect a lot of real wow moments during this conversation. I'm sure you know both my co-founders, but without further ado, I would like to welcome Raj Brahmbhatt, the founder and CEO, and Keshav Pandya, the co-founder and CEO of Zeebu. Guys, thank you so much. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Raghav. We want to welcome you as well as the co-founder and CMO.
Thank you.
So it looks like this is our third conversation.
Yeah.
Official, like we did one in the Singapore, second from Ahmedabad, and this is third official discussion.
Yes, but the
On air.
go viral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, look, without more shitter chatter, I kind of want to jump right into being here at ITW, second year in a row, and how exciting that is.
Sure.
Really, I mean, we were. It's even better that we're here today, doing a official fireside chat together, because this is where we picked up traction last year.
Sure.
Last year, we had just finished product development. Ideation, kind of getting the model and the pieces together.
Sure.
We came to ITW. We were trying to get our first set of customers. At that point, we had a technology team, but no customers.
Sure.
Right? This year, we're back, and the traction in the past year have been incredible.
Uh-huh.
I mean, firstly, where the year went by, I have no idea. It was incredibly fast.
Sure.
But along with that, now we're back with 96 institutional clients. And today, we've officially done $2 billion in transactions on our platform. So congratulations to Zeebu and to both of you. But look, I mean, being here with you guys and the team as a whole is incredibly exciting for me.
I'm sure. Yeah, can't take any more.
Right?
Yeah. So, thanks for breaking the news. Officially happening here for the first time. We just crashed 2 billion in transactions. I know the journey was not easy. I remember the night when we were just discussing and deliberating what we should do. What's your take on the journey, Keshav, from ideating to seeing 2 billion in action?
Yeah, the journey has been phenomenal, fantastic. We started with, real journey started in 2020, right? We started thinking that we want to build something which is disrupting for the payment, for telecom industry. Then so much of our iterations, we spent good amount of time to do those things. And finally, last year, we came out with the first prototyping model that, okay, let's start with the settlement as a first use case.
Sure.
And that become the sensational success for the company.
Sure.
On the other side, the blockchain fraternity, the real world use case got adopted very well.
Yeah.
We see the motion in the transaction. Crypto industry is talking about us. Token 2049, where we were last time, it was fantastic. And each event is becoming more and more engaging. We are receiving very good response. And
Absolutely.
if you see today, last night I was talking to so many different people from the telecom industry. Now they are becoming vocal that how they can use Zeebu to leverage more and more services, how they can strengthen their businesses, make sure that Zeebu is becoming integral part of their business. So that seems to be a real success to me.
Absolutely.
And journey, like none of the journey is very easy. It has there so much of ups and downs, so much of challenges were there. But finally, we are seeing where we were. So last year we were saying that we will do 1.8 billion in our first anniversary transaction.
Yeah.
Our first anniversary is supposed to be on 21st July 2024.
Wow.
But we are right now in the month of May. We are in the verge of closing to 2 billion in transaction volume.
Wow.
So we already surpassed our first milestone.
Yeah.
It is going phenomenal on that particular side. Now we are ideating new use cases, how to onboard new industries.
Sure.
So even on that side, today morning, like even this is pending discussion with you guys as well. I had a call with very big very big refinery in Saudi.
Wow.
So they want to start using Zeebu. They are like all set. They say like, just do my KYC. I want to do everyday settlement using Zeebu. So that is radiating from one industry to other, and we are solving a real world pain problem.
Awesome.
Before this, I was at PETA. All of the island telecom operator, Vodafone signed with us, Tuvalu Telecom signed with us. Now Vodafone's entire consortium wants to get onboarded.
Yeah.
And all of those operators are lining up that how they can leverage Zeebu on their core business for remittances, for settlement, for services. So
Awesome.
that looks like that whatever we thought, it is really getting adopted by the telcos. And first we started with carrier, but now operators have started approaching us.
Wow. Right.
So Vikas called me yesterday when I was on my way from New York to here. He told like the Tuvaluan government, they want to onboard us on the panel to structure their entire bylaws, that how we can help them for collecting their national payments.
Wow. Wow. Guys, this is getting way bigger than what we originally envisioned and started. I'm sure we started with telecom as a space, and now governments are talking to us, refineries are talking to us. So this is like super exciting, especially as the CMO of exciting organization like this. I get to do so many cool things, and with all the hard work these guys do, I get to steal the credit for conquering the world. That kind of brings me back to you. I know we've been hearing of Semi in a very long time.
Yeah.
Telecom today, rest of the world tomorrow. So how is that going?
Well, look, I mean, let me trace back a little bit to what Keshav was saying, right? There were a lot of ups and downs trying to get here. I mean, I think here are a few set of rules and things that happen to every single startup. For every one good thing that'll happen, usually there's 20 bad things surrounding it, right? So you have to stay optimistic and focus on the good.
Sure.
Obviously learn from the bad, but don't let it discourage you.
Sure.
Number two, every idea really starts as a seed.
Correct.
And no one has their shit together day one.
Yeah.
So every idea starts with a seed. You have to let it grow in a plant, and you can't always decide what direction the plant will grow. The branches will grow into.
Good.
Right. And along with that, it's very interesting it's not just how we are ideating and envisioning Zeebu's future roadmap. It's how others are doing so as well. And now, building on top of Keshav's experience from the past two events, while I've been here and in the other conversations that I have been having, people have been asking me, how can I build on top of the Zeebu protocol?
Beautiful.
Zeebu protocol hasn't even been complete public news yet. I've only given small glimpses to multiple people within the industry.
True.
Along with that, how can we increase the value-added services on your platform? The operators are interested in maybe reconciliation services, dispute resolution, etc.
Sure.
Right? So today, when I say it's telecom today, rest of the world tomorrow, we always want to stick with telecom, but at the same time, we have built something of so much value for other industries and really the rest of the world as well.
Absolutely.
It would be almost a crime not to deploy it.
Sure.
Right? So including the vision, ideation, and multiple features that the industry is suggesting that we onboard onto our platform and enable, I have some ideas as well. I mean, Keshav's talking about refineries. One of the biggest problems in oil and gas is letter of credits, right? SPLCs and LCs. They can go all the way up to 15 points in fees.
Not sure.
10 to 15% is heavy.
Heavy.
Slices away at your margins, right?
Yeah.
Today, because of blockchain technology and smart contracts.
Just double click that point. Like he explained me what is the real problem they are facing.
Yeah.
Like we never thought of oil and gas as an industry when we started, right?
Yeah.
But we thought about payments as a use case.
Yeah.
What happens to them that right now, if someone is buying oil and some large size crude lot, so there are no mechanism to verify availability of the fund, and that causes the biggest loss for them.
Wow.
That's where they are liking Zeebu.
Yeah.
That with the Zeebu, if we can give them visibility that the buyer is really having fund, which will get immediately paid upon the delivery, that is savior. Because these refineries are selling to so many different enterprises.
Yeah.
Now, there can be airline company. He mentioned about one of the bankrupt company of airline aviation. They made a huge loss because they delivered the crude and they said like, oh, they never received money because banks were saying like it was based on SBLC. And when it got for encashment, the company was bankrupt.
Well, it comes.
Shit.
It deducts down to commodity risk.
Yeah.
Right. Commodities they can be perishable.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, in the larger loads that they're shipped out in, they're highly expensive to produce, to transport, etc.
Sure.
So it's important for buyers to actually see, sellers to actually see proof of funds.
Yeah.
Banks are doing a good job at it. Obviously, it's a fucking bank.
Sure. Yeah.
Today, the 10 to 15 points on every transaction is not affordable.
Wow.
So an idea we had within Zeebu Labs and our research and development team is why not create smart contract-based escrow vaults where we can hold digital assets
Sure.
that the counterparties can look at on chain.
Sure.
And there will be a trigger point in order to release the funds as soon as the commodities are delivered.
Beautiful.
Right?
See, it's a novel idea. It's a great idea that we want to get into this industry. But just looking back, right? My journey with Zeebu has been going from high to high.
Yeah.
Like we started with events, we did phenomenal events, we did testimonials, customers are raving about it. Oil and gas is a great space to go. My question, especially what probably audience, ZB Sam, our community was thinking is, hey, Telecom, we had a great foothold.
Yeah.
We had an anchor merchant who has been supporting. We had an immediate kickstart because there is already a, trust that was built over 3 decades. Why do you guys think an industry like oil and gas will adopt something like blockchain, number one? Number two, do you think the journey is going to be easier? Is it uphill? Is it going to be like Telecom, or is it going to be one customer at a time, one transaction at a time?
I'll tell you what, look, I mean, any legacy industry that's been using any sort of tool, mechanism, technology for a long time,
Sure.
It's very difficult to convert them.
Sure.
So it is definitely an uphill battle. It's not something that's going to smooth the sail like butter, right?
Right.
So, and at Zeebu, we're not necessarily interested in building out that roadmap ourselves. At Zeebu, we've done 2 things. We've built a robust value transfer platform for telecom companies.
Correct.
And we have also built a robust liquidity protocol.
Sure.
Now, when it comes to the liquidity protocol, that's general technology and that aggregates liquidity altogether.
Right.
What's important is to, number one, give access to other companies and startups, people with more ideas, to that liquidity protocol, because this is a big problem within the blockchain and DeFi space as a whole, having access to liquidity. Now, at Zeebu, we can't help ourselves. We're innovative people, so we constantly come up with ideas. So as we go down the line, we may come out with developer kits to enable others to build on top of the protocol. We may release different white papers, such as this concept for the oil and gas industry, that another startup could adopt. And Zeebu Labs may give them a grant, right?
Yeah.
Etc.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So that's the thought. I mean, we want to stick to telecom. Telecom's a $2.3 trillion industry.
Massive.
We can go very deep in there, especially with the lending services that we are coming out with down the road. So a lot to do within telecom for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the next point, right? I mean, I know we all have been excited about Zeebu Labs and what Zeebu Labs is bringing, and how all 3 of us are extremely committed to helping entrepreneurs, people who want to build businesses, bring great ideas to life. I wanted to double click on that. Let's go layer by layer, right? What is Zeebu Labs for us as an organization, and where we are seeing this? And what is Zeebu Labs for some of the most promising entrepreneurs who have great ideas? Like Raj said, let's say I want to do something great in oil and gas. I want to do something great in commodity trading. I have a concept, I have an idea, I have the hold on the customers, but I don't know, how to raise one, so which protocol do I build on? So how can they look at Zeebu Labs as a platform? That's your take.
If you see the evolution of Web3 industry, so why Web3 came into existence? So answer is after the crisis, last, recession, the first white paper and first prototype of blockchain came out as a Bitcoin, that they demonstrated that how trustless network can be built upon, which is immutable, and the payment can go seamless.
Yeah.
That was the first evidence, and that's where the entire journey started. Now, if we talk about this is a contributed economy,
Right.
in a way. Like Bitcoin network, none of the central servers are running, but there are contributors who are contributing their infrastructure. There are miners who contribute their energy. There are traders who contribute their belief and trust.
Sure.
There are investors who bring the TVL into the ecosystem, and that's how entire ecosystem is evolving.
That's right.
Then Ethereum came in, started adding one more leg to it, because Bitcoin was on 3 legs, where one is you become a contributor, another is you become a believer, and third you become the holder of it.
Sure.
Then Ethereum came in, and they came and invited the builder economy.
Right.
That okay, this is decentralized enough, this is democratized enough. How everyone can have the freedom to build upon their ideation space.
Right.
You don't have to now worry about your infrastructure. You don't have to worry about users. Everything is already there. So the 3 pillars are already there. Now you come and build so that you can monetize the entire network on top of it. Right? So that thing came out with the Ethereum revolution. And it after the idea, we saw the gigantic success of Ethereum, that so many new tokens came up, so many new ecosystem got built upon it. And today we are in an era of DeFi.
True.
So DeFi is a decentralized finance ecosystem.
Sure.
And we as a Zeebu talking about Web3 neobank.
Right.
So we are not saying that we are going to become bank, but we are trying to implement all of the use cases which are already there, but making it more democratized, more contributable by entire Zeebu fam and all of the builder community.
Lovely.
So when it comes to the Zeebu Labs, the idea is very clear that Zeebu is having on one side prominent demand. So what you need as a blockchain project or what you need as a token, you should have a strong presence in the market, your trustability, your TVL and users.
Sure.
So Zeebu have all of this 4 DNA in its place. That businesses are daily using us. We have a very nice volume on the exchanges because of our business. We are real world utility, so we are unique in that particular kind.
Sure.
And if you see, we are surpassing the use case daily burden due to the burning model of ours. We are surpassing the biggest utility platform across the globe. Now with Zeebu Labs, we are inviting others that okay, we demonstrated first success with the telecom. If you have similar access on other industry, come utilize, like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Because that's our core philosophy at Zeebu Labs, that what we have, just monetize it. Don't go and try to reinvent the wheel again and again. So as a builder, as a IT company, as you may be having your fintech platform, you may be having your blockchain platform, you may be a marketeer, you may be anyone. So we are coming up with the governance model where you become the contributor and you start building upon the grants what we have. Because at Zeebu, we are not trying to create entire ecosystem by our own, because it becomes decentralized and it's not philosophy of Web3.
Absolutely.
So we are trying to create an entire democratized world where our entire roadmap is public. We will go ahead and tell that, okay, we are thinking on this particular industry, this particular idea, and entire community will start working on it. They will come up with their own POC, they will build upon it. And Zeebu Lab will help them for doing this via grants. That's one idea. Second thing, how it will look like in future, like the way Bitcoin got evolved, how the Ethereum got evolved, the DeFi came in. So with Zeebu, it will come up with a real world payment use case for different industries by leveraging our liquidity protocol. Because we have a TVL, we have liquidity in place, and we are inviting others that you come and start building upon it. So that we can empower others. And that also brings another aspect of restaking, staking, and leveraging the existing financial utility. And we can also build upon the trust network, which is already there. We are not trying to say that we are some chain. You start believing new into us. We are a multi-chain token. So you may be believing on Solana, you may be believing on Ethereum, you may be believing on Binance chain, you may be believing on any of the Optimism or anything, or base chain. So Zeebu is as a multi-chain token. Our liquidity is there, and we are enabling and making sure that we become accessible on all of these platforms depending on the use cases available. And that's where Zeebu Labs will kick in. It will empower more and more businesses use case, and that will create entire ecosystem of Zeebu.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, makes absolute sense. Right? We are enabling the whole ecosystem, and that's the whole point there. Very well said. Raj, I mean, I probably have the same question, but a little bit of twist to it. You know, the face of what a young entrepreneur in Web3 would look like. Being on the Entrepreneur cover magazine recently, congratulations at that.
Thank you.
A lot of, you know, young folks in the community are looking at, hey, if probably he can do it, then I can also do it too. But we show some success recipe, you know, a cheat code on how we do it. So what's your take and let's look at, you know, two things, where Zeebu Labs is and how young entrepreneurs can probably replicate, build something at scale the way we do at Zeebu.
Look, I mean, there's a lot of answers to this, right? There's definitely persistence.
Right.
Like I said, for every good thing that happens, there will be 20 bad things.
Right.
Being able to navigate through the shit show that's created by the bad things, identifying what actually the good thing that happened was,
Right.
and staying optimistic is probably the key component.
Sure.
Along with that, it's also important to focus on building something well, rather than only building hype. Right? Because a lot of companies, what they do is they spend a large amount of time on PowerPoints, Excel sheets, planning, etc.
Right.
They don't end up actually building anything of value.
Right.
Sure. At Zeebu, we did that exactly. We built something of value. I mean, Keshav mentioned earlier that the ideation happened. You know, these seeds were planted in 2020.
Yeah.
But we took our time. We truly identified what the real problems were.
Right.
Because when it comes to execution, you want to be fast.
Yeah.
When it comes to planning, you can take a little bit of time. Because what you think that works today,
Yeah.
tomorrow you might realize it doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
Right? Because people get carried away, and there's also a big component of groupthink.
Chill. True.
So groupthink is essentially when, let's say there's a set of 10 people, one person believes it, then a second person believes it, third person believes it, eventually all 10 start believing it.
Yeah.
But what if the first person was wrong?
Yeah.
Right? So
Then they're marching in the wrong direction.
exactly. So rather than following groupthink, it's more important to actually brainstorm ideas,
Sure.
dissect them to a core level.
Sure.
Actually identify whether or not what you are thinking actually makes sense or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And lastly, I would say pick your moments.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know the Greek god Hermes?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So he's fast, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about Flash.
Yeah.
He's also fast. Now, we are regular Homo sapiens, which is human beings. We're not that fast. We're pretty slow creatures. But sometimes in life, opportunities and chances come by very, very quickly at you and around you.
Yeah.
You need to have the ability to pick those
Yeah.
quickly, because you have very short periods of time
Yeah.
where you get to tap into them.
True.
Right? So it's more about being observant than fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So beautiful. So very, very well nailed. I think that also kind of gives. Sure.
Towards the end note, I want to ask one thing which we have never discussed. As a marketeer, what is Zeebu's brand story? What is the story behind logo? What is how you came up with the entire idea of Zeebu as a name? What is story behind it?
It's a.
We want to understand. We want to listen from you. What's the overall thought process?
It's a very interesting point. I mean, obviously, thanks for bringing that up. It was a delight, obviously, working on the whole brand journey of Zeebu, how we want to represent, where we want market to look at, how they want to pursue us. Look, I mean, when we started, I mean, all three of us were very optimistic. We knew we were going to do something big, but we didn't know that we were going to be known as the founders and co-founders of the, a unicorn, which is like the fastest unicorn in the Web3 world and all of that. When we started, obviously, I remember the night that we spent the whole night on how do we kind of come up with the ideation, what do we, call ourselves as. I mean, Zeebu obviously, in one of the foreign languages means the Indian brew. We wanted to be known as the brew that is promising a lot of things to market, not just in terms of the financial benefits, but more in terms of the agility we bring, the whole, the growth, the innovation that we promise, to all the, ecosystem holders, especially when working on the logo, right? I mean, we wanted to obviously represent Zeebu. We wanted our logo to be representing what we stand for. In terms of picking the colors, we want to be known for agility. We wanted to be known for the promise that the future holds. We wanted to be known for the new age tech that is disrupting traditional industry. We wanted to be a representation of three young guys coming up with idea to transform the way world is looking at telecom as an industry. So it was putting all these ingredients together, and then you grind them, and then you come up with, a beautiful logo on how it can be picturized. What we see today in Zeebu is a beautiful logo, hard work of obviously two of you guys plus me in the room. Relentless nights that we spent together. This is probably the first time we are revealing what we see here is the 100% version of the logo that, finally saw the light end of the tunnel. I remember we came up with a representation of an ox, and you said, oh no, this doesn't look very appealing. I came up with World Herculean map, and then Raj said, hey no, we want to go beyond the universe. So there are so many discussions, deliberations, and finally we nailed, the current logo, which is now the darling of the market, darling of all the community members.
So
Maybe I can tell you my favorite.
Yeah. So adding to there, Raj, the Zeebu name you ideated when there is a story behind Zeebu, right?
Yeah.
For the name as well. We want to listen that story, want to share that story and uncover that fact with all of the people.
So initially the name Zeebu came back in 2020 itself. At that time, I had a separate startup. I was working on essentially tokenizing the sustainability sector as a whole.
Interesting.
Now, in that process, I realized why not start with telecom?
Yeah.
It's the way to make the biggest difference.
Sure.
When it comes to tokenizing the world as a whole.
Yeah.
Right? Because telecommunication essentially carries the largest community.
Yeah.
So I decided to shift the name Zeebu to telecom, because at the same time, we want to build something that will kind of produce consistent growth,
Sure.
Be sustainable,
Sure.
and most importantly, moving over to the icon, this is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Whenever I talk about the logo, I jump right to the icon.
Right.
It's how we always aspire to create a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 and make it as fluid as possible.
Sure.
So the orange pretty much represents Web 2.
Web 2?
And the blue represents Web 3. As you know, you're the one who actually wrote these brand guidelines.
Right.
But the whole point of the infinite loop is Zeebu bridging between Web 2 and Web 3 over and over again seamlessly.
Sure.
And that's kind of the transition with the gradients as well.
Yeah.
So from 2020 to until now, this logo pretty much evolved a ton.
Yeah.
But the evolution truly represents where Zeebu is today.
Sure.
We're a sustainable company.
Sure.
That is creating a consistent bridge between Web 2 and Web 3.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well said. Very well said. As we move towards the end of the chat, a couple of things, right? All three of us, we had our LinkedIn inboxes, our WhatsApp or Telegrams go on fire when we became a unicorn. All of us got a lot of messages. Hey, congratulations, you guys are now a unicorn, crossed the $1 billion mark. And personally for me, it seems very easy and naturally to people, oh, these guys build something and they become a unicorn. For me, I know personally that three of us, the founding team members, would not be stationed in one continent for more than 6 days in a row. We literally leave out that suitcase probably like 230 days in a year.
Yeah.
And we've been hopping from the African subcontinent to Europe, to US, to Ireland, Middle East, and Singapore, and all of that. And not just that, right? It took a lot of hard work, dedication, focused efforts, and all of that.
Sacrifice,
yeah, most importantly. So this, while it is very glamorous for us to put up the show that, hey, we are the fastest, youngest unicorn of the Web3 space, there is a lot of blood, sweat, tear, hard work that has gone into making. So when people ask me, I then tend to not glorify the amount of sacrifices that each of the founding member has made, but it has been a relentless effort. So I want to ask you guys those personal stories. How has it been from day zero of idea to Zeebu to crossing the $1 billion and beyond. What have been your personal stories in terms of how we made this happen and how this became a reality?
So look, I mean, I kind of tried to go through the difficulties that you actually face when you're building out a startup.
Yeah.
Right. But that's on the execution level.
True.
Right. When you're planning with not as big of a team, not as much expertise around you, there's a lot of uncertainty.
True.
Now, sometimes you may have to believe a team member that might not have the actual experience to build out on top of it.
True.
But they did the research, they kind of dug deep. So there's a lot of potential ifs and buts. There's a lot of uncertainty that we faced over time to lack of resources, lack of time, etc. Right? Just the general startup stuff.
Yeah.
What was important that through it all, we were persistent.
Yeah.
We believed in our cause.
Yeah.
We believed in the mission and the vision of the company.
True.
So I think that was a key component up until to the $2 billion mark for Zeebu. But along with this came a lot of personal sacrifices as well.
Exactly.
Right? Giving up hobbies, spending less time with family. Kind of comes at a cost of health, etc.
Yeah.
These are cheaper costs to pay than most do when building a company. But these are costs that generally tread along with you.
Sure. Keshav, moving on to, I know you have been in crypto and Web3 space for much longer than, RFSKR. You have seen the industry go up and down, bull and bear markets, all of that. But when according to you, those, sacrifices are behind the scenes that bless to become a unicorn?
So for us, real success came in with our real world problem solving, because in my last 15 years, what I learned that if you are really solving a problem which is existing, right?
Sure.
Then you will definitely get adoption to it, because you don't have to create that problem.
Sure.
When you go and talk to someone, like it was very easy for me when I realized in PETA conference that they were facing about remittances, settlement has been a big problem for them.
Yeah.
When I explained them that, okay, we are PayPal for telecom,
Right.
for making it easy for them.
Right.
So it was very easy for them to understand.
Yeah.
Then I said, like, how much you are spending?
Yeah.
They said, like, we lose 5 to 10% of total value which are coming into the country, going out towards the charges, towards the spread, all of those things. And when I said, like, okay, Zeebu is coming up with a chargeless ecosystem and it's a near real time. So that made lot of sense. If you see this and try to make benchmark with any of other payment system, so payment is everyday essential. If you try to keep it in the same form factor, the way, like if I am handing over $100 bill to you, right? It is $100. It's not getting lost anywhere. None of the penny is going out or getting leaked.
Correct.
So that you are trying to keep the experience intact. And that happened in the Zeebu, and that's where we got adopted very well.
Right.
Towards the challenges, there has been so much of challenge because we are different than others, right?
Yeah.
We are not trying to create a Web3-ish company which is just talking about problem which doesn't exist at all.
Yeah.
We are bringing in a technology into the payment to bring transparency, to bring real world experience and solve a problem.
Yeah.
So Web3 is not for us any geek.
Yeah.
For us, it's a technology enablement which is solving a real world problem. So it was very difficult for everyone, like, to, whenever we go to Web3 world, they ask, like, okay, you are a telecom company, you are meant for telecom, why you are exhibiting here, what you are doing here. When we come here into the telecom side, they say, like, okay, you are a crypto company, so what you are doing here? So to make them understand that, okay, we are not a crypto company, we are not a telecom company, we are a fintech using blockchain and focusing dedicatedly on one particular industry, which is telecom. So that was one challenge. On a personal front, like staying away from family, constantly on the travel, that has been a challenge. But on the upside, you get to meet so many people, get to understand so much different economy,
100%.
and that is helping us today
100%.
for defining new use case, new roadmap, and how we can go about it.
100%.
So we have so much packed in our bags right now, apart from the carry-ons. Like we have so many new ideas, we have so many new feedback, we have so many new upcoming products,
Yeah.
which will create a blast of situation in the year, like by the time we come next year here in the ITW, we'll have so much of new ammunition, which we will be able to decorate around the wall.
Sure. Very interesting. I'm new to the last question. I know Raj has to actually the panel and you have a lot of meetings lined up. Thank you so much. I mean, this was something that was long pending. Obviously, there is a huge excitement built up, right? In the community, in our sellers, in our partners, in our customers. Everybody has one question. What is the next big thing Zeebu is doing? What is the next big thing that Zeebu is up to? And, the people talking about the Zeebu Phoenix protocol, the people talking about governance, the people talking about giveaways. But I want to understand from founders, what are those big things that you think, these are the amazing kick-ass things that Zeebu has in store?
So I'll answer it in a short.
Yeah.
Sorry to steal that.
Yeah.
Join our Telegram channel, follow us on Twitter,
Sure.
and follow us. Then you'll get to know.
Sure. That was my last ending line, but yeah, sure, yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
let's
sure.
Well, look, I mean, everything just Keshav just said is the best way to keep up with what Zeebu is coming up with.
Sure.
So I won't go into I won't deep dive into the roadmap.
Sure.
Doesn't make a sense. What I would say is the most anticipated thing for me in Zeebu, and the multiple avenues that we are currently venturing out into is simply the liquidity protocol. The liquidity engine that we're building out will be the heart of what Zeebu's mission entails for the coming decade or the coming century as a whole.
No.
It's going to fuel every single initiative that we build out moving forward from here.
Sure.
So I would say the liquidity engine, the Zeebu protocol itself is the most anticipated thing within the Zeebu roadmap.
Beautiful. And that's not only going to transform our existing telecom story, but also everything else that will come on board. Is that right?
It'll be the heart of everything.
Lovely. Okay. Awesome. Keshav.
Same. Yeah. Follow us. Join our Telegram.
Oh my
Visit
God.
the website and stay tuned. Yeah.
Use these lines. Well, absolutely. I mean, stay tuned. We are like both my, founder, co-founder said, we are following us on social media, join our Telegram. A lot of exciting things coming up. I'm personally very excited about, what Labs is holding store, what protocol is going to do, how we're going to transform other industries. I'm also super thrilled and excited about, the amount of thought leadership that we're bringing to the industry. And up next is Consensus, and we are hosting a massive side event. We're bringing in a lot of movers and shakers. I'm super excited about this whole talk show. I mean, I think this is probably the 27th episode just between the two events of Program 2049 and here at ITW. I am thrilled about how we are bringing leaders on this show and have them, layer by layer, inch by inch, talk about how the industry is transforming. So I'm thrilled about all of this. But guys, thank you so much. I know we have been super busy and booked. Both of you took time and came here. So I loved it. Loved having the conversation.
Thanks a ton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raghav, for all of this.
Thank you.
Thanks for being the best host that the team can have.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Stay tuned for more discussion like this. We are going to have so much new coming up things on our channels.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.